Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is David Phelps, and we've been talking about the grace of God. In the coming weeks, we'll be talking about some particular places that you need the operation of grace flowing through you. But for today, we've got something unique and special that we're going to share together. I heard a story many years ago. It's become one of my favorite stories. A man of God he wasn't sure if it was an out-of-body experience or a vision, but he began to travel and he came to rest after some time in a huge baseball stadium. And he was quickly able to surmise that there was a game starting to take place, and it was the team of God against the team of the devil. The devil himself was on the mound pitching for his team. God wasn't in the game, but rather in the stands watching the game with everybody else. The game progressed, and it went 8.5 innings of a very defensive struggle. There was no score and not even an attempt at the plate. God's team was coming to bat in the bottom of the ninth, and nobody wants to go into overtime when you're playing against or struggling against or battling against the devil. This man of God was situated in a very unique position, and from his vantage he was able to read the name of the players as they would come to bat for God's team. The first player getting ready now in the batter's box, the warm-up circle, was a strong, powerful man. The man of God read faith across the back of his jersey, and he knew that faith could no doubt end the game with one swing of the bat if he was able to properly connect. And so excitement began to build within him as faith stepped up to the plate. And as he got himself in position in the batter's box, the devil looked at him and said, "Boy, I'm going to blow you away with my fastball." Sort of snarling, trying to intimidate. I guess what he didn't realize was that faith loves fastballs. Faith eats fastballs for breakfast. Faith was licking his chops, anticipating a hard, fast pitch that he could drive right out of the park, yet a little bit cautious because he knew that this pitcher not only had a reputation for lies, but was the father of all lies. Sure enough, the ball started, progressed out of the devil's hand as he hurled his first pitch. It was hard and fast, coming right down the middle of the plate. Faith got into position and committed to the swing, and just as he committed to the swing, the ball began to dive down and outside. It was a slider. Faith was able to reach, and with his sheer strength, even with the reach, he powered the ball safely into outfield and rounded first with a single. The next player that walked up to the plate was smaller and looked far more astute, and the man of God read the name Wisdom on the back of his jersey. The devil hurled much the same. "I'm going to blow you away with my fastball," thinking that Wisdom wouldn't have the strength of faith and could never conquer his curves and sliders. What he didn't realize was that the wisdom of God would never swing at an errant pitch. And Wisdom stood in the batter's box. As the first pitch started right down the pike, it was a dream pitch, a pitch that nobody could pass up. But Wisdom did. and at the last moment it dove again down and outside and passed for ball 1. The second pitch came high and tight, ball 2. Ball 3, ball 4, Wisdom walked, forcing Faith to second base. The next batter to come to the plate, the man of God looked on the back of his jersey and read the name Love. And he knew what Love was going to do. The devil knew what Love was going to do. Everybody knew what Love was going to do. Love walked to the plate like this. For you see, true love never deceives. Love was going to bunt, because Love will always sacrifice himself for his team. The devil knew it, and he threw the ball with a riser. And Love squared to bunt. Even before the devil released the ball, Love squared to bunt. And the ball was coming hard and fast. The third baseman advancing, the first baseman advancing in case the bunt would be laid down in their direction. Love got a little bit under the rising pitch and popped it up right over the head of the advancing third baseman. The third baseman ran back and gathered up the ball. A quick look to third. He realized that Faith was already there. He looked to second and Wisdom was sliding in. He turned and threw the ball hard and fast in the direction of first. But first, Love was safe. He beat out the pitch. Runners at first, second, and third. Love is at first, Wisdom at second, Faith is at third. Nobody's out. Bottom of the ninth. That's the closest they've been to the plate. There was great cheers throughout the stadium. And suddenly the voice of God hushed the crowd as he could be heard saying, "It's time for our special batter, pinch hit." The man of God got excited. He thought, who is this special batter? Is it Jesus? Could it be the Holy Ghost? What does he look like? When all of a sudden, a midget jumped out of the dugout. The man of God thought, well, that's nice. The special batter has his own special bat boy. But the midget walked toward the plate, bat in hand, and took the stance of an active batter. The man of God looked on the back of his jersey and he saw the name Ace. And then as he raised his arms in the stance of the batter, those other 2 letters fell out from under and he realized his name was Grace. Suddenly, the man of God realized God is in this game. God is going to do through that midget what he could never do all by himself. Once again, the devil was out of position. He couldn't read the name. There was laughter on the field as the players smirked at who God sent to the plate. The devil turned and said, "This one's on me, boys. Rest." You see, arrogance doesn't always pay off. The devil threw the ball, and it was the hardest fastball ever recorded in the annals of history. It was coming straight, it was coming hard, it was coming fast, and Grace committed to the swing. And as the bat collided with the ball, it went rocketing somewhere toward outer space. Awe filled the stadium. But the center fielder, Prince of the Air, leapt high above the grounds of the ball field. And he was able to soar through the air and just get the web of the glove on the ball. But the ball was hit with such power, it ripped the web out of the glove, careened off the side of his head, and he fell to the ground, a wounded mess. The ball continued into parts unknown, and Faith crossed with the winning run, followed by wisdom and by love, and they waited together for grace to cross with the fourth and final run of the Grand Slam home run, sending God's team into victory, and God's team should always experience victory. As Grace was crossing the plate, once again a hush fell over the crowd, and the voice of God could be heard asking this man of God, "Son, do you understand what I have done and why I chose to do it so?" And he said, "God, I know full well what you did, but I can't begin to tell how or why." And the Spirit of God said to the man, "Son, had faith produced the victory, many men through the ages and generations of time would have stood in line to proclaim to everybody it was their faith that brought God's team victory. Had wisdom or love produced the victory, it would have been much the same. But when grace alone was responsible for the victory for my team, all of mankind had to unite in one voice and declare it was but by the grace of God." You see, my friend, your faith, your wisdom, your love can get you on base, but only the grace of God can bring you home. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this story as much as I have, and that it has built your faith, encouraged your wisdom, and highlighted your love, but most of all, that has helped you to realize, to understand, but personalize the fact that the grace of God is what we need most. We need God working in us and through us to achieve what we could never accomplish on our own. Perhaps you're at a place where things seem impossible, and I'm here to remind you, it may be impossible for you, but it's no big deal for God. For God specializes in things thought impossible to us. If you have a friend that's going through a battle, forward this clip to them. Let them share what you have just experienced. We certainly do love you, and we appreciate all that you have been called to do for God, understanding that you can never achieve or accomplish it on your own, but you can raise your hands in victory at the end of the battlefield, because the grace of God is here to bring you home. God bless you.